Hey guys, my name is Nosmele Mayaba and welcome to my YouTube channel. So once again guys, thank you so much for all the support that you continue to show us. Our YouTube channel is growing each and every day and that is all thanks to you. If you are new, I invite you to please join the rest of the family by subscribing. So guys, today we are talking about HIV and sex. Why your sex life does not need to be boring because you are living with HIV or you may be in a mixed status relationship. What I mean about that is that one partner is living with HIV and the other partner is HIV negative. So we started covering the topic, when we were doing the Mayaba love journey. You heard my husband's comments in some of the videos, but I'm glad that we didn't, dwell more into the topic because I thought it actually deserved a whole separate video where we share more details. I share my own experiences with the hope that, others share their own experiences as well, with the hope that, it's going to help someone that may be too shy to come forward and ask questions. So, guys, the first thing I want to say is this. Whenever I talk to people that are living with HIV or are in a mixed status relationship, their main concern is always, but now my sex life is going to be boring, it's going to be limited, it's going to be, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I did. I just want to let you know this, those are lies. Whoever told you that is lying. People living with HIV or in mixed status relationship have tons of sex. They enjoy their sex life. Thank you very much. They have sex all the time, in different positions, in different places, in different times, in different styles. So you do not have to worry about that. Obviously, there need to be measures that are put into place to make sure that you continue to protect yourself and you protect your partner. So the first thing that I'm going to say, I'm going to share my own experience. So I was diagnosed HIV positive in 2013. I met my husband in 2016. For the first 2 years of our relationship, we did not use anything but condoms. And the reason for this was because I was not on any kind of treatment. I started my treatment beginning of 2017. As I said before on separate videos, I started my treatment quite late because I felt like psychologically, mentally, I was not ready for it. So I told my doctor, I was like, I'll see you in a year or so. But back then, around 2015, I was just not ready for it. So the way that I had to protect myself from infecting my husband is to make sure that we used condoms all the time. And that is one option that is available to you. Now, when we talk about condoms, there's always an issue sometimes when it comes to, males, our male partners, they sometimes complain that, but now am I going to use a condom all the time? Condoms are very uncomfortable. They're tight around our penises. This is the experience that I actually had with my former boyfriend. So after we found out that we were diagnosed, with HIV, so obviously our doctor advised us, you can have sex, but make sure that you use a condom so that you don't reinfect each other. So, that was fine. We listened to the doctor. But after some time now, he came back and said, no, I don't want to use condoms anymore because they're quite uncomfortable. They're quite tight around my penis. And I'm like, what? Like, we've been using condoms for like a number of years. Why all of a sudden are condoms uncomfortable? And I know for a fact that your penis did not grow overnight. So what's the issue? But obviously, I'll be honest that I did not say this to him. This is what I was thinking. But at the time, I was like, you know what? Okay, let me just do whatever he wants. As I've shared before, I was quite scared that he was going to leave. So I was willing to do everything that he wanted to make sure that he did not leave, okay? Because I knew I was going to be a mess dealing with the issue on my own. So when it comes to condom, I know the controversy around it. A lot of our male partners always complain that condoms are very much uncomfortable. So I actually have some practical ways or some things that you can try out using a condom that can make the whole experience quite easy. The first thing that you can actually do is use lubricants, sometimes called lubes. So it's basically like a gel or a liquid that you rub on your vagina, your penis, or on the actual condom itself. So it basically eliminates the friction that happens during sex, that sometimes makes, when you're having sex, sex quite unenjoyable or, quite uncomfortable. So lubes are sometimes are things that are sometimes recommended. I'll actually recommend you trying out lubes. Are available everywhere. Like if you go to clicks, into pharmacies, you can get lubes even without any prescription or a doctor's note, anything. Just like how you get condoms, you can get lubes. So that is one thing that you can try out. Then the other thing that you can try out, once again, I know from my own experience, talking about sex is not something that is readily quite comfortable. I was that person. I'm a church girl. Before I met my husband, I was also very much like, I don't want to talk about sex. Sex is not readily something that we should be talking about and all those things. But ever since I met my husband, sex. Like, it's normal, it's natural, and that's how it should be between two people. By the way, I forgot to say this to all my conservative Christian followers. I apologize. I know this is a topic that is sometimes not, publicly, talked about, but as I've said, I am willing to share anything, and sex pertaining to HIV is one of those things. So I have never been the person that is very much comfortable in talking about sex, and that translated in some other parts of how I reacted to different things. For example, I did not want to buy condoms in my previous relationship. It was always like the responsibility of my boyfriend. Like, dude, you need to go and buy condoms. I can't be seen buying condoms and then people think I'm having sex. I can't have that. So it was always his responsibility to make sure that he bought condoms. So the one thing that I may suggest, just to spice things up, it's actually the females that actually buy condoms. Or actually, it does not always need to be like the male partner that uses a condom. Female condoms are available. I have never tried it, to be honest myself, but as I've said, this is another option that you can try. Instead of male condoms, you can try female condoms. And then the third thing that I wanted to share that you can try is be spontaneous. Okay, so I know for a fact that something that puts people off, particularly males, is the thought of, you're busy making out, it's getting hot, and then you have to leave all of that, get up, and then go and find a condom. And in most places, because you are already in the zone, you forget where you even put the condom. So you basically need to now fish around and look in different places where the condom is. By the time you find the condom and you go back to your partner, she's like, I'm not in the mood. That kills the whole vibe, and that's mostly why people don't use condoms. They're like, no, but I don't want, to waste any time. By the time I come back, she's no longer interested. So I might as well, while everything is hot, we get everything done. So what I suggest is sometimes, while she's busy in the bathroom, or he's busy in the bathroom and you're already in the bedroom, make sure that you take a few condoms, put them in the inside of the pillowcase. So while she thinks you're still going to get up and get the condom, the condom is inside the pillowcase or like under the covers or under the bed. Like literally, you just have to stretch, okay, to get your condom. I mean, that is one thing that's quite like you can change about the whole experience or about, using condoms. And then if you don't have kids, that gives you an extra, I'll say, freedom to play around. So literally you can hide condoms everywhere, in the kitchen counters, under the carpets, in the living room, anywhere. So basically you can do your deeds anywhere. You don't have to go upstairs and fetch your condoms. I get why that can sometimes ruin the moment. So that is what you can consider when using a condom as an option. Then moving right along, as I said, now I started my treatment then in 2017. It took me about 6 months to get a suppressed viral load. So what I mean about that is that using treatment, by the way, using treatment is an option. You cannot be forced to use treatment, but I will cover this in a totally different video. So it took me about 6 months to get a suppressed viral load. By a viral load it does not mean that the virus is cured. thought. I still have HIV, but the amount of HIV that is inside my body does not have as much strength to do any damage inside my body. That's what treatment does. And it also helps that it minimizes the risk of you infecting another person. So while I started treatment in 2018, my husband started PrEP. What I mean about PrEP is it's pre-exposure prophylaxis. So pre-exposure prophylaxis is a pill that is used as a preventative from getting HIV. So it's used by people that are at high risk of infecting HIV. Sex workers actually use PrEP. And obviously people that are in a mixed status relationship use PrEP. Similar how you take ARVs is similar how you take PrEP. So I always say this when it comes to PrEP. When you are considering the PrEP option, please make sure that you understand the commitment that it comes with taking PrEP. Once again, I said it's similar to taking ARVs. ARVs is a lifetime commitment. You can't just say, now wake up one day and say, no, you know what, I don't think this is meant for me. I don't want to take the ARVs anymore. You're risking the chances of the virus inside of you multiplying and doing more damage, and also becoming resistant to the drugs. So in a case where after a year you decide, no, actually I want to now use the pills again, there's no guarantee that they're going to be as much effective as they were when you first started with them. So when it comes to PrEP and you are considering the PrEP option, please have this discussion with your partner very much openly, and put out all the risks that are involved and the commitment that is required from taking PrEP. PrEP is taken every day. Unfortunately, PrEP is not readily available from pharmacies. Like, you can't just go and say, oh, I'm there to buy PrEP, or from the clinic. It gets prioritized, but when it comes to getting it over the counter, you have to get a doctor's note. You have to get a prescription to get PrEP. So that is one option. So while I'm taking ARVs and my husband was taking PrEP, my viral load was being suppressed, the amount of virus in my system was being minimized, and the risk of me infecting my husband was getting minimized. And from his perspective, it was protecting him from any kind of, me infecting him with HIV. So with that being said, using ARVs and PrEP at the same time, it actually now gives us the freedom of not using condoms. So we now do not use condoms because the risk is low. It does not mean there's no risk involved. I just mean that the risk is low than it would have been if we're not using anything. So that is one option that you can consider. By the way, when it comes to PrEP, a lot of people actually confuse PrEP with PEP. PEP is post-exposure prophylaxis. So this is when you've actually been exposed to HIV. People that had sex without a condom, when the other partner that is infected is not on ARVs or anything, and also people that have been raped are given PEP. As I said, PEP is post-exposure prophylaxis. So they take this every day for about 28 days, and it also reduces the chances of you getting infected with HIV after you've been exposed. So those are the different options that you can try. The ARVs, the PrEP, and the condom. And we have already discussed the different ways that you can go about that. Then I'm always asked sometimes, different questions such as pertaining to different positions and different styles of having sex, whether they are high risk, and how you can further protect yourself. So the two different styles that I want to discuss are anal sex and oral sex. When it comes to anal sex, now I'll be very honest that I have not tried anal sex. Anal sex is basically using your butthole. My butthole is quite small, so I've never tried anal sex. I've never been actually interested in trying out anal sex. I don't know, maybe it's because I've read for quite some time that anal sex is quite painful. And as I've said, my butthole is too small. I don't think I'll ever try anal sex. But I have read about some of the different risks and some some things that you can put forward in terms of making sure that you continue being safe. So scientists or medical practitioners actually consider anal sex as the most high risk in contracting HIV, because apparently the lining of the anal is quite thin, so it can easily break. That's why it's quite easy for you to contract HIV through anal sex. But once again, using lubricants is quite apparently effective when you're engaging in anal sex, and making sure that you continue cleaning your butthole to make sure that you don't have infections, and once again making sure you use a condom, you are on ARVs, and you are on PrEP. So those are the things that you should consider when when you are having anal sex. And then when it comes to oral sex, now that is one thing that I am experienced in. I feel like I'm saying I'm experienced is like, okay, I'm experienced in, I'm just going to leave it there. So when it comes to oral sex, you can have oral sex. Medical practitioners actually consider this one as more low risk of contracting HIV. But there are things that you have to make sure, once again, you put into place when you're having oral sex. Although you may be at low risk of getting HIV, you may be more at high risk of getting STDs, because if a person has bad sores on their mouth or they have bleeding gums, it sometimes puts you at risk of getting STDs. So that is why it is very much important to make sure that, check yourself, you don't have bleeding gums and all of those things. But also, you can use a condom. So basically, oral sex involves involves basically I don't know how to explain without being very blunt. Oral sex is sometimes basically licking your partner's private parts, okay? Licking their vagina or licking their penis. I am sorry, that is the case. So sometimes it is advisable that possibly that you can use a condom. So basically covering your partner's penis with a condom and then pleasuring your partner's private parts that way, to protect yourself from STDs. And when using a condom in oral sex, actually also allows the partner to ejaculate in the condom, so they don't have to ejaculate in your mouth. Lord. So they don't have to ejaculate in your mouth, so that eliminates the whole process. When it comes to different positions, doggy style, missionary, anything that you can think of, by the window, by the couch, by the shower, on the floor, girl, like guy, do whatever you want, as long as obviously you have put all the measures that we have discussed into place, and obviously depending on what makes you more comfortable. So guys, sex away, okay? Sex away as much as you want. So I really hope that this video has been really helpful, and if there's anything that I have left out, please let me know, so that anyone that is reading this once again can get assistance, and they may get more clarity into the issue. So I'll see you next time, guys.